before we start our today's topic, if you would like to give advice, any advice to for the law students or the law aspirants, any advice?
Okay. So first of all, thank you so much for the lovely introduction that you gave, Priyanka, and thank you for having me here and giving me the opportunity to educate people. And whatever you guys are doing is again an innovative and a lucrative way to connect with people in this virtual phase. So similarly, as you said, likewise, I have also created my channel, namely Legal Baba, wherein I connect with many people throughout the country and in fact outside the country also. But do you know what I get to know from people whom I connect with and whom I talk with? It's like, you know, many people doesn't even know their basic rights or laws, and due to the lack of the knowledge of laws or their rights, many people face major losses in their lives, and whether may be a financial loss, whether may be a social loss, economical loss, or any such loss which is done and having been said that many law students, many young Turks, many law aspirants would be all ears on to this webinar. So, for all those young Turks, for all those law students, and even to my advocate community, see, I would like to share my piece of experience so far in this vast field of knowledge. See, when I initially started oiling the wheels in terms of sailing my boat and hailing in this profession, the first and foremost thing which I learned was to acquire a good amount of knowledge and to firmly have my hand over the understanding of the law and acquiring per science, of course. And Priyanka, if I tell you, I can connect with those confused young Turks or confused young students who thinks that यार इस field में तो हमने पैर रख दिया है, but as and when we complete our law, so how would we be able to earn our livelihood in this competitive profession? तो उन लोगों के लिए भी है मेरे पास जवाब. या देखिए, I myself is also the first generation advocate in my entire family. And as per me, see, law is a very lucrative career option. But it requires a lot of persistence, it requires a lot of tenacity and determination, of course. But once it is achieved, then every step of the way would prove to be lucrative to you. और अगर आपको एक अच्छा एडवोकेट बनना है, if you want to be a good litigant, to be a good advocate, it always requires you to be obsequious or servile. You should always follow the principle of prudence. You should always be attentive to the possible hazards. You should always navigate the way or the way of approach towards meeting the ends of the justice. अगर आपको ये बात समझ आती है, then you can be a good advocate. यार उसमें कोई डाउट ही नहीं है ना, कोई रोक सकता है आपको. बट आपको एक और चीज बता दूं मैं, जो हमारा जुडिशियल सिस्टम है, our legal system is entirely antithetic to all the arbitrariness and unfairness. So, therefore, the fundamental approach of the court is to strike a balance between law and society with utmost equality by harmonizing the wheel of the equity. आप समझे बात को? तो therefore, देखिए यार, ऐसा है ना कि हमारा जुडिशियल सिस्टम हैज बीन ट्रेन टू एक्ट अपॉन लाइक दिस. तो इसमें कुछ वो हम बदल नहीं सकते, बट हम एक चीज कर सकते हैं. बीइंग एन एडवोकेट, बीइंग अ लिटिगेंट, आप एक चीज समझिए बात को कि यू कैन नॉट एक्ट ऑलवेज एक्ट इन अ ऑब्लिवियन मैनर और अ स्टैग्नेंसी मैनर. सो हाँ, मैं ये चीज पे अग्री करता हूँ कि एनीबडी कैन हैव कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ व्यूज, एनीबडी कैन हैव डिस्कॉर्डेंट व्यूज, बट उसके लिए भी जुडिशियल सिस्टम ने दे हैव प्रोवाइडेड अ पैसेज फॉर ऑल द कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ व्यूज. Like for instance, in an appeal, sometimes a judgment get reversed. तो आप समझ रहे, the court acts as a sentinel on the quay vive or the cock out to protect the rights of the people. इतनी सी बात आपको समझ आ गई, then nobody can stop you being a good advocate. आप अपनी earning भी कर सकते हो इससे, but first of all, you have to acquire that amount of knowledge. You have to be persistent. You have to, you have to be determined with what you are doing. एक पैशन होना चाहिए. अगर वो आपने यू फुलफिल दैट कैटेगरी क्राइटेरिया, तो नोबडी कैन स्टॉप यू बीइंग अ गुड एडवोकेट.